You're the kind of person that would go to a court, like if you were being sued or going to court for whatever reason, would you hire an attorney?
Yeah.
Or would you just go and see if you can win the case by yourself?
One thing that we have to realize is that the process that the buyer would have to go through in order to get that buyer's representation, the listing agent and the seller did that.
They all went through that.
They did that. So they have that bond, they have that relationship. What's up, guys, and welcome to another video. My name is Avery. I'm a trusted realtor here in Central Florida. There has been a lot of excitement here in real estate in this last year. We have seen interest rates drop below 6%, which is the lowest it's been in the last year and a half. We have seen hundreds of price reductions daily, and we have inventory over 11,000 units, which is the highest that it's been since 2015. We are not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about the class action lawsuit settlement that happened back in May with the NAR. And I wanted to bring a top producing agent here that has worked with hundreds of families on the listing and the buying side to shed some light in the darkness and the noise of the media about that settlement. I have here with me an agent with over 10 years of experience. She is a wife, she is a coach, she is a mom. She has personally helped me develop into the agent that I am today. Please welcome Jennifer Wade.
Well, thank you for that kind introduction.
You're welcome.
You know you're near and dear to my heart. You hold a special place in my heart for forever. But yes, been doing this for over 10 years. Now have a beautiful real estate team. And we service all of the state of Florida. What else? But I am a boy mom, I am a wife, and I am a God-fearing woman, and I'm proud of it. So let's go.
Okay, so you told us You told us a little bit about you, where you come from. Just briefly tell us a little bit about your real estate journey and how you've come to where you are today, and then we're going to get into that settlement.
So I actually started off real estate as a single mom. My firstborn, I have two boys now, but at that time it was just one. His dad wasn't very fully present, so it was really, really difficult for me. But I was an administrator by day, and by night I used to serve tables.
Okay.
And when I got in the industry, he's now my mentor, but I was doing a lot of work for him on the administrative side.
Yeah.
And he kind of pulled me in his office and was just kind of like, and believe it or not, I was very introverted back in those days.
Really?
So there's hope for all you introverts out there. So he pulled me in his office. I barely knew him at that time, and he was just kind of like, what are you doing? You've got so much potential. I had my real estate license. I was just an admin. And he was like, you have so much potential to do more than being an admin. No offense to any admins out there that love their job.
They're needed.
Yeah, because they are needed. And he was just kind of like, jump in. And I got you, pretty much. He made me feel comfortable. It took a lot of prayer in between time, because as a single mom, as you know, that was the scariest thing.
Yeah.
That was so scary. I mean, I was very brave back then, so I still am. And I took the leap, and I got into real estate. He pretty much took me under his wing for the first 2 years, and then he let me fly with my own wings, and that was really scary. But that's where my journey began. I think my journey truly began when he decided it was time for you to do this independently, not relying on me. He taught me a lot of how to be my own boss. Yeah. And it was scary, but
I can imagine.
The bills had to get paid. So I had only one choice, and it was to make it work. There was no plan B at all. And in my head, I was like, I don't want to be a statistic. You know, 87% failure rate. That's what real estate has. And I was like, ain't no way I'm going to be in that 87%. So that's what pushed me through my first 3 years, pretty much. That's how I kind of got into it.
Okay.
It was a rough beginning.
No, that's impactful. And look, that brought you to where you are today, and that's what helped build your experience, which is why I wanted to bring you here to have this conversation with you.
Thank you.
So jumping into the settlement, there's a lot going on. The media's covering it. Everybody's talking about it. Can you give us a brief explanation, just for those who may not, or who may be confused about what's going on, can you just give us a brief summary of what's going on with that settlement?
Yeah, absolutely. So the settlement, the long story short, there was a lawsuit that happened that the National Association of Realtors, they didn't win.
Right.
So therefore, because they didn't win the lawsuit was stating, it's pretty much saying that it's not fair to people who want to sell the houses that they need to pay for a buyer's representation.
Right.
They have to for a realtor on the buying side, and so National Association of Realtors lost that. Yeah. And there's been a lot of legal changes made. One of the most significant are now that if you're going to buy a home, you are responsible for compensating the representation.
Right.
So yeah. So that's pretty much the gist of the whole thing. There's a lot more legal documentation and things like that on the back end that real estate agents need to do and sign. Right. But the most significant consumer facing is that now the compensation is it's up to the buyer to decide if they want to hire a real estate agent and to pay that real estate agent.
Okay.
Essentially.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah. It's pretty simple. There's a lot more like little details that I'm probably not mentioning, but that's really just the gist of it. I like to simplify things. Just better for my processing.
So would you say that settlement has helped buyers, or is there any benefits to the buyers from that settlement? And if any, what are they?
Well, I definitely think so. The way that I put it is, if you're the kind of person that would go to a court, like if you were being sued or going to court for whatever reason, would you hire an attorney? Yeah. Or would you just go and see if you can win the case by yourself? And that's the easiest way to put it. I don't know many people that would just go and try to win the case without hiring an attorney. I don't know. So it's kind of the same thing. There's a lot of, legal aspects that are tied to buying a house. Right. If it's not recorded right, that can cost you money. Just little things that can cost big money in the grand scheme of things. And I think the benefit now is that for buyers, I think the biggest benefit is that they can vet out real estate agents, right? Like before buyers to be a buyer's agent, someone that represents a buyer buying a house, it was so easy. Anyone can just open the house. Like
it's like the hookup culture.
Yeah, it literally was just so easy. You can call somebody and meet at the property. Anybody can open the door. You have no idea if that person was a killer or what. He just has his real estate license. Yeah. And I think now this is going to force people buying a home to actually interview, which I always encourage that, but it was such a dog-eat-dog world. Yeah. But now they get to interview, sit down, and figure out, do I want to hire this person to represent me? Is it worth it? Yeah. Awesome. So I think that's the biggest blessing for buyers, is the fact that now you're probably going to be motivated to actually interview a real estate agent. That's the way it should have always been, in my opinion. Right.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, and I agree. The fact that you're going to have to actually build a relationship, and you're going to have to actually show your value now as an agent, and that's perfect for buyers. And maybe on the outside looking in, people may not see that now, but as time progresses, I do believe that the industry is going to benefit from that as well.
Absolutely.
So going into buyers having to now interview agents and kind of vet them and really build that relationship with them, what are some things that they should be asking that buyer's agent when they meet with them?
I think the most important question is, well, first you've got to decide what's important to you. I think it's like anything else. It's a good analogy or metaphor could be dating. It's just like dating. What's important to you? Like, what are you looking for? If you're a person that is super analytical and you like every single detail most of the time, then you definitely want to make sure that you're finding a realtor whose presentation to you is what you like, graphs and charts. Like, so I think the most important thing is to be mindful as like what kind of person you are. Right. If you don't have time for that, and you don't have time for the chit chat, and you find someone that specializes in giving you peace of mind. Right. But the three key questions I like to ask is, I think that buyers should ask a buyer's agent.
Right.
One would most definitely be, tell me about a time where you, and then fill in the blank.
Okay.
Right. So like, what's important to you? So if it's, if you know you can be a pain in the neck, well, first of all, kudos to you for actually acknowledging that that's how you are. But tell me about a time where you had a client give you pushback. How did you handle that? And it's a very good question, because buying a home is one of the biggest purchases that somebody would make.
Yeah.
And there's a lots of up and down, and that's just buying the house. That's not including like life things that can happen.
Yeah.
So I think that's one very important question to ask. I think another great question to ask is, well, what makes you so different? What makes you so different?
Yeah.
I think that an experienced agent or someone that takes their business serious will know how to decipher or explain or articulate what makes them so different. So I think that's question number 2. And I think question number 3 is, tell me about your process.
Yeah.
I think like also it's important that you understand the process of buying a home, and not only understand just the simplistic process of buying a home, but every agent goes about it very, very differently. There's different processes, and not a lot of agents have it down to articulate. Again, the more experienced agents will know how to explain to you and articulate to you, my process, here's what we're going to do first. I'm going to have you speak with the lender. I'm going to have you do this. And then we're going to have a criteria call. And then we're going to go show homes. And I'm going to, so like you have to be able to ask a question so you can get a clear picture of what their process looks like. And if you leave that meeting like with questions on your mind and you don't feel the connection, it wasn't meant to be. Follow your intuition.
Find
next.
Gotcha. I like that. That was really
that?
good.
Awesome. I'm glad you like it. I mean, listen, I think the most important thing is, like, I've been doing this for 10 years, a little over 10. And it's like, for me, it's like, it's about time. I actually started in this industry, and I was like, I used to do buyer brokerage agreements. I was trained in the beginning. Yeah. But then I'm competing with 10,000 other people who don't do it. Yep. So then I'm like, okay, so I stopped doing it, right? I was literally losing clients. Well, not losing, because they ended up, like, I reeled them back in, I guess. But it got so like bad to the point where they were like, Jen, but they didn't ask me for that. And I'm like, fine, so. Right. But now this is the way it was supposed to be. Right. I think this is the proper way. And I feel realtors will be respected more because of this. So I'm grateful that settlement happened. Yeah.
And I agree. It also forces the agent to they have obligations now, right? They have to improve themselves. They have to improve their systems. They have to, like you said, be able to articulate what value are you going to bring to me? Because like you said, this is the biggest investment most people are going to make in their lives. So I need to make sure that I'm doing it with the right person, like you said, for them, that's going to help them with their needs and wants. So I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love your smile. How about that? How do you like those apples? Yeah. But real estate is really interesting. I think that, ultimately it's just like every other profession. I felt like for so long, real estate, the people, like, have you ever, like, you're a realtor, so, like, have you ever been out and you say, hey, I own a real estate business, or I'm a real estate agent, and people are like, almost, you could feel them rolling their eyes. Yeah. It's like, it's like not a awkward, respected profession. It's so weird. Yeah. And I can't wait till they start changing the process of actually getting your license, making it just a tad bit harder. That'll be great. But yeah, so, I'm happy this happened. I feel like that our industry will be taken a little more serious.
Yeah. And it'll be...
There's a lot of agents just falling out already.
No, yeah, trust me, I've had conversations where they're like, I'm just not going to force anyone. I'm like, it's not about forcing. It's just about educating and helping them understand. Because once they understand, they're going to sign. It's like any other process, dealing with any other profession. But now you have to articulate yourself. And I think that's where the biggest issue is coming. Yeah. So with that being said, you mentioned something in the beginning. You just touched on it very briefly. But you said if agents decide to work to be represented, right? There's a notion buyers are going to go directly to the listing agents. I've been hearing that a lot, and personally, I don't think that is a wise decision on the buyer side, with your analogy of the attorney and having that specific representation. What do you think? And being a top listing agent as well, like what advice would you give as far as, hey, should a buyer just come directly to the listing agent?
No. That's probably the worst thing you're going to do, because the listing agent has fiduciary duties to the seller. So the listing agreement, which hasn't changed, and they have the seller and the listing agent. Let's just put it this way, for simple terms, they have a special bond.
Yep. And
if you, the buyer, are going to go directly to them, honestly, what I do is I end up actually finding someone from my team, and then I'll say, yeah, I'm going to catch you. It's just better that way.
Yeah. Because you know the agent. You know.
Yeah, it's way better that way. And so, but if you go directly to, and I only know that it's not that I would do something wrong. It's simply because in the eyes of the buyer and under pressure, it could come off some way.
Yeah.
So I don't want that type of friction. So I would much rather find someone on my team that I know is going to take very good care of you.
Yeah.
To take care of that buyer. But ultimately, going straight to the listing agent, you don't get a better deal. As a matter of fact, you'll probably get ripped apart because you don't have somebody negotiating the deal for you that knows how to negotiate. That's mastered negotiating.
Yep.
So that's probably the worst thing that someone can do, is go directly to the listing agent, even though it seems easy.
Yeah.
But we all know things that come easy are usually hard at the end. So.
Right. One thing that we have to realize is that the process that the buyer would have to go through in order to get that buyer's representation, the listing agent and the seller did that.
They all went through that.
They did that. So they have that bond, they have that relationship, and now
they didn't just do that. They probably had 2 meetings. They probably met again for photos. I mean, they probably had lunch. There's probably gift cards involved. There is a different type of a bond that a seller and a listing agent will have.
Yeah.
And it would be much different than the average buyer who just calls on a sign to the listing agent.
Right.
As sweet as the listing agent might be, it is our jobs to be sweethearts.
Yeah.
So as sweet as the listing agent might be, and I'm probably going to get some hate from realtors for this one, but it's the truth, and that's what I'm here for.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. I am definitely leaving with a better understanding of the settlement, and I really do appreciate you taking your time out. I hope you guys have a better understanding, and if you guys want to reach out to Jennifer, how can they find you? What can they find you on? What social medias are you on?
Yeah, so if you have any questions about anything, you can reach out to me on my Instagram. I am Jennifer Wade that's my IG. I am Jennifer Wade on Instagram. I guess my phone number is 407-394-9342. Call me. What else? I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. All the things. So find me, Jennifer Wade.
And then I'll also have her information in the description below as well. But thank you so much.
Thank you, darling. You're awesome. This was fun.
This was really fun.
Hope you guys had as much fun as we did.
Yes, I hope.
Have a good day.
See you next one. Peace.